And here we are, breaking news on this Tuesday afternoon. A PlayStation mini kind of direct, I suppose. Just an announcement come out of the woodwork from good old Mark Cerny coming in with hardware. Now, we had been talking about a PlayStation device for a long time. And I went back and actually looked at when the last kind of concrete rumor came out, and it was episode 88 of our podcast.
Bloody
So
hell.
we were talking about the PlayStation 5
Wow.
Pro, and that has now become a reality. So listeners, welcome to NPS We Trust the PlayStation podcast. This is a special breaking news edition because we have a brand new episode of the show which goes up like tomorrow from the day of recording that we've already done, and it was already nearly the 4-hour mark. So we thought, right, well, let's not include it in there. It was all edited and done. I don't want to open that can of worms. Let's do a new one, and let's do a little bit that can go out to all of you. And here we are, guys. So the first thing, before we dive into any of the facts and what was announced here, did you all get an opportunity to watch the 9-ish minute presentation from the God and Savior that is Mark Cerny? Spence, over to you.
Yeah, literally, I woke up quite late today. It was the first thing I did when I woke up. Woke up for, oh fuck, it's happened. TV on, bang, immediate. And fucking what a presentation it was. I enjoyed it.
Well, there you go. And yourself, Mr. Hoy, have you had an opportunity to watch it?
Of course, mate. I was tuned in at 4 o'clock UK time. Went downstairs, put it on the big TV, put my phone to the side. I didn't want to look at any, updates from anybody else, because sometimes on a stream, people are like a minute or a couple of seconds before you, and they want to spoil it, don't they? They want to tell you that they know before you. But no, I put that to the side and just watched those 9 minutes, and we were blessed. We were blessed with what we were all expecting. There was no surprise that we got the PS5 Pro.
Exactly right, yeah. You're exactly right. It was what we all anticipated. I mean, the thing we were all talking last night in our group chat, and we were saying, what if? What if it's the Vita 2?
Oh.
What if?
Mate.
Like, that would have been the dream, right? But this is as to be expected. No kind of major surprises here. Well, there are a couple of major surprises, but I'm sure we'll get to that when we come to the full kind of discussion. And let's dive into it. Spence, I really want to know the facts. I really want to know what was announced here. Give me all the deets, bro. And then what we'll do is from there, we'll kind of go round and our thoughts, and we'll take the conversation wherever it goes. But over to you, my friend. Give us the facts, Spence.
Sure. So during the presentation, Mark Cerny basically said that the big difference is the big three. And the big three are as follows. It's an upgraded GPU, advanced ray tracing, and AI-driven upscaling. So I'll go into details on them. The upgraded GPU. With PS5 Pro, we are upgrading to a GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 console and 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. For the advanced ray tracing, we've added more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflection and refraction of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PS5 console. And then the last one, AI-driven upscaling. We're also introducing PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, an AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. Now, those are the three big changes in terms of the actual components of the system. Obviously, there's a different appearance for the system, and there's a different price, but I think we'll talk about that maybe in a moment, not too soon.
Exactly right. I think, thank you very much for running us through those. You're right. We'll leave the kind of price discussion and some of the other intricacies to the side. Now, in terms of these specs, obviously you guys know I'm not a spec guy. I'm really not. I like how they dumbed it down to talk about what that meant in the presentation, where they talked about what it actually is. And it is exactly what we are asking for. I listened back to episode 88, to a tiny section of it, to see what we were asking for in the PS5 Pro. And my words verbatim were, all it has to do is run 4K 60 ray tracing. That's it. And that is what we got. So, well done, Mark Cerny. That is exactly what I needed the Pro device to do. There is nothing worse than having to pick between fidelity and performance. And what I learnt in this is that I'm part of the 1 in 4 gamer who chooses to go fidelity, whereas most people go performance. So that was quite interesting. And it's become worse and worse for me as the generation's gone, because whereas back in the start of this podcast life, I couldn't really tell the difference between 30 and 60. These days, it hits me like a ton of bricks. I don't know why that is. I don't know when that change happened, but let me tell you, Spence, ignorance was bliss. I
told you.
I wish I couldn't see the difference because it's so annoying now I can. But for me, the things he talked about here, sure, he may have mentioned, PSSR and all these cool little names or whatever, the GPU being so much bigger. I just need to know what it did. And he made that really clear during this presentation. So for me, it gave me all the information I needed at this stage. I know there's more in the blog, and I'm sure we'll kind of come on to a couple of those intricacies in a second. But what about yourself, Spence? How did you think about, what are your kind of thoughts on these three kind of major parts of the PS5 Pro?
I think these three components are basically exactly what everyone expected. We all knew it would be more powerful in terms of fast memory or RAM and GPU power. Probably everyone, I think, expected AI to be involved in some aspect. AI is just getting larger and larger. We knew it would be there somewhere. Apologies for my dog kicking off. It's going to happen. Ray tracing as well. I mean, more ray tracing. Ray tracing is beautiful enough as is. It's fine. Just more of it is great. This is exactly what I thought we'd get out of it. It's exactly what we are getting. I'm surprised it wasn't more as it stands, but this 3 is exactly what a Pro version should kind of bring across. It's just for those gamers that want everything. For me, I'm not too fussed, I don't think, with the whole not having a choice and you have to choose between performance and fidelity. I'm okay. But these are definitely perfect for players such as yourself, Davey, where you just want to boot up and it be optimized for you from the get-go. So I completely understand who this is for and why people want this console.
What about yourself, Mr. Hoy? How did you feel about this? Do you understand your GPUs from your PSSRs, from your WASDs, for your up, down, left, right on the D-pad? What did this all mean to you? Was it double Dutch or were you very much along for the ride?
Well, I was probably more like Spencer than yourself. I was along for the ride, but I was very much digging into the details that sort of Mark went through. And I thought he presented it very, very well. It was a mixture of him on screen, giving us the highlights. They went into some technical detail with some pre-rendered graphics. And then, of course, they showed us some screenshots of some very well-known games that we've all played, we all know, and we all love. And we could see a clear difference between how we experienced them with fidelity and performance mode on the PS5 and now what the PS5 Pro can really give us. I thought it really got across exactly what it was meant to do and what we'd all been dreaming and hoping it was going to do. And it got it across in a very simplistic way, but it didn't shy away from the details.
I think you're right. I think it was that nice mixture, wasn't it, where it was dumb enough that I can follow along with it, but it gave the right kind of details when it needed to so that people are like, okay, so how is it doing this? And I think it did strike that balance where it was for everyone, wasn't it? And I'm sure that I know that there's more detail within the PlayStation blog. And there's even more things in there and different use case examples and different kind of details where you can really dig into it. And I'm sure that over the next couple of weeks before we come to record episode 99, that we're going to learn even more, about what the relationship is when it comes to PSVR 2, all that kind of stuff. Whereas for me, what I enjoy reading in the blog and that I thought wasn't very clear or perhaps was just a kind of side note to the presentation is how it affects PS4 games. So what they were saying on PS4 games is you put it in and that's where the AI kind of super sampling thing comes in. So it will then boost the resolution of the PS4 games way beyond what it would normally be. And I found that super interesting. Because I was thinking, is this potentially where we can finally get Bloodborne at 60 frames? Maybe. Like, it could be, right? Like, this could be the long-awaited thing, and I think that would push a lot of people through the door. But yeah, nonetheless, I think you guys are bang on with this, that the way it was delivered was exactly what it needed to do. I don't think they need to stay around any longer to make any more points. Now, the one concern I had before we get into kind of specifics here and we get into the big elephant in the room, which of course is the price, is for me, I was kind of expecting here a one more thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe I had the wrong kind of basis, but I was kind of expecting here this would be a perfect opportunity to show Ghost 2. And for me, I was thinking that you'd be like, here's a brand new game that we got in development, here's Ghost 2, and this is it on the PS5 Pro. And you'd just be like, fuck me. I think that's kind of missing from this, like some kind of big thing you're like, because I've seen Spidey, I've seen Last of Us, I've seen Demon Souls, and Ratchet. These are all older experiences, some 4 years ago, in terms of the case of Demon Souls. I was expecting to see something that's like blows my fucking dick off. And as cool as it is to see Ratchet looking as good as it is, I played it in Fidelity, so it looked exactly the same, it's just smoother, It's not like as if somebody played it at like 720p and they're playing it with, and it's like fucking 5,000 million frames. To me, it was like, oh, well, it looks how it was to me when I played it. Like, it didn't blow my tits off for that aspect. It's more a case of, I wonder what this thing's going to do in the future. And so for me, that was where I kind of fall foul on this, but it could be my own expectation. Phil, I don't know if you're following on the same lines as me here.
100% disagree with you on that, Davey. This presentation in itself was a one more thing. This is the presentation that should have been tacked on to a bigger event to get people hype about the future. It's strange that we only got a really short presentation, sort of dropped really randomly on a day like today. I think this was the one more thing. And if they had added something like Ghost of Tsushima, I think it would have overshadowed, the aspects of the PS5 Pro that people are very happy with. Of course, it might have worked as a bit more of a shit sandwich, because obviously the price, I think, may be a bit of a sticking point for people, but of course we'll talk about that in a minute. So it could have brought people's hype levels back up. But the things I'm reading on Twitter, people were very pleased on the things they announced outside the price. So I don't think it really needed that one more thing.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. What about yourself, Spence? Are you alongside Phil on this?
I'm completely along with Phil, but in a different way. It's not... They had no reason to show Ghosts or any new games. This isn't a new console. It's a new version of an existing console. They're not going to show you something brand new because they want to show you a reason to buy this console. So they're going to show you a comparison to the prior one and how it improves upon it. If they showed something new, it'd be like, yeah, but that's going to be on the normal PS5. How will it look on there?
And don't you think now, in future presentations, every new game will be shown to us on the PS5 Pro?
100%.
Exactly. So they're leaving it for that point. There's no point in spoiling it now and overshadowing the good that they're giving us. They're waiting, leaving that. They've banked that for the future because they know that's a winner.
Yeah, you guys are right. You're pulling me over to your side here. I think maybe if they did come out and they did, show Ghost, maybe it would be that instead of the media footage and the media being all about the PS5 Pro, there's Ghost 2 announced and PS5 Pros here too. Like it might take some of the shine off it. So, okay.
Takes a backseat.
Yeah, I'm coming around to your line of thinking here. I'm coming around. I could be swayed, I'm not very much stuck in a camp on this one. But one thing I am stuck on the camp on is the price. So, Spence, do you want to give us the rundown of the price here, the availability, and the kind of specs of what kind of comes in the box here?
Sure. So I'll go through everything else first. So basically it's everything you get with a normal PS5 in the box. So you get your controller, you get your cables, you get your handset, your DualSense, standard stuff. The new PS5 Pro is the same height as the new PS5, but the width of the old PS5. So it's the same height as the Slim, but just as fat as the original base model. And there's a few changes to it. So it basically has improved Wi-Fi. So it's on Wi-Fi 7. So you could expect faster speeds if you have faster speeds. It's basically capable of keeping up with what most people have for their internet now. I think all of us are on about a gig. And the default PS5 can't go all the way up to a gig, as far as I'm aware. But this new one should be able to. And it also comes with a 2 terabyte SSD. So a big improvement on the 635, 636, something gigabyte we get. It's 700 and something, but then obviously the operating system takes storage. So this won't be a full 2 terabyte. This will be like 1920 or something, or 1800, but still a lot of storage. It will launch on November 7th, 2024. Pre-orders begin September 26th, 2024, and the price is $699.99 USD, $699.99 pound, 799.99 euros, and 119,980 Japanese yen, including tax. So that's the big stinger, I'm afraid. How did you boys feel when you saw this price?
I'll have to be honest, Spence. I was kind of expecting it to be expensive. You know, we've theorized quite a lot over the last, 10 or so episodes of the podcast whenever this subject comes up of the price. And I think we were all thinking it was going to be around the £600 mark. Okay. And I think we had all been okay with that coming out at £600. But to see that $99.99 added, and then to understand that it doesn't include a disk drive, the vertical stand is sold separately, and that's very prominent in the graphic that Sony and PlayStation are putting out. So you need to spend another £125 in the UK to get the full whack. If you want the full PS5 Pro with your handset, with the stand, with the disk drive, you're looking at £825 for this system. It is very, very expensive. Now, I think in most people's minds, and I've seen the fallout on Twitter, that is a lot of money for what they're promising. For myself, I don't mean to boast, I'm kind of at that stage in life where I have a disposable income. That price for me, I'm probably going to be buying it straight away. I'm going to be buying it day one. Guys, that isn't going to put me off buying the PlayStation Pro, partly because I'm on the best PlayStation podcast in the UK.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Thanks to my listeners, thanks to the viewers, thanks to you boys. We are the best in the UK, the biggest in the UK as well. Partly because of that, but partly because of this generation is quickly becoming my favourite generation because of what we've built. And the amount I'm playing PlayStation at the moment. So of course I'm going to be buying a PS5 Pro. But yes, I think for the everyman, it's a big pill to swallow, £700 and $825 if you want the full system.
That's the thing that fucks me off with this. Like, it just fucking actually angers me, right? I saw the price, I saw it, and I was like, oh. I was like, Jesus, that's a lot. Because I was thinking it was going to be $599 to $650 in terms of pounds. I was thinking dollars, $699. And I was thinking pounds, $650, around about there. For whatever reason, us and the US get it at the same price, which is insane. Now, there's tax for the Americans, which they don't include because for whatever reason they like to make their life hard, right? Whereas we include it in. The people I feel a little bit sorry for at the moment is actually the Europeans. An extra €100 on top is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Now, the pricing structure for PlayStation prices have been fucked for a while. I remember when the games went up and it was €69.99 or £69.99, and I was saying, well, that's not fucking fair. They're getting a better deal than we are on games. That's ridiculous. It's insane money. Now, here we are, and they're paying an extra €100 on top for seemingly no real reason. And I mean, Europe, let's get out there straight away. Europe is PlayStation dominated. So if there's a market you're going to take the piss in, it could be the Europeans, because they don't buy anything else. It is PlayStation Nation over there. The UK, we have been at times a bit of a warring nation between us and Xbox. We're now blue, right? We're fully blue. Same as the rest of the world. No one's fucking buying Xbox, right? But for me, I saw that $699 and I thought, right, it's doable. I could do it. Like, I could do it. Not having the disk drive fucks me off unbelievably. Because does it look better in digital? Yes, it does. And am I buying more digital games than I am physical these days? I'm buying more than I ever have, but I'm still buying a lot of physical games. I just bought Astro physical. I bought Prince of Persia physical. So it's got to be a specific game for it to be a digital thing. So it means I have to buy the disk drive, otherwise I can't play most of my games. The cost of that is egregious. Absolutely fucking egregious. And not having a stand, this is a premium device. Like, you'd think for the premium, you chuck freebies in. It's like you don't go on business class on a plane and they say, sorry, you just get these little shitty tiny little earbuds. You get fucking Bose or whatever given to you, and that's yours to keep. And you get fucking champagne on tap and all this bollocks. For that kind of price, I'd expect a fucking stand. You know? It'd be like, what's next? They don't chuck the HDMI in. You know? Because it's getting that way. It's fucking insane to me.
It's as bad as Apple. These days, they don't even include the power block when you buy a new phone. They include the lead, I believe, still, because, of course, they're changing over from their proprietary connection with Apple over to USB-C, but they don't include the power block. They're really cutting back on those type of things. You probably won't even get a box in the future with these types of things. You'd have to walk out, Asda's with a plastic bag or a bag for life with your PlayStation in. But, Davey, one little comment. That stand and that disk drive, I hope they've made a lot of them. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are going to be buying them now. Preemptively, because they know there's going to be a rush when the PS5 Pro comes out in November. And what a great date. November 7th. It's a week before my birthday. So if anyone really wants to gift me a PlayStation 5 Pro for my birthday, it's my 40th. So, I deserve it. It comes out at the right time.
You'll be lucky for the fucking stand off me, mate.
Yeah, not a chance. Just bragged in our face about how you can afford it.
Yeah.
Still want it for free, mate. Well, no one argues with free.
Free's free, innit? And
exactly.
It'd be way better if it was free. But no, I saw the price and it's put me in a bit of a conundrum. And Spence, I'm gonna take you on a little bit of a journey before I hand it over to you to get your kind of thoughts on this, because I can already tell what's gonna happen. Sure. I can already tell what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna cast your minds back, right? PlayStation 4 Pro announcement. I watched it live, saw the gains there, that it could run, 1440, 60 FPS. And I thought, this is cool, not really worth the price, the extra 200 quid on top. I thought, not really worth the price. I'm not going to bother. Didn't bother. 6 months later, God of War 2018 was shown.
Yeah.
What am I, fucking a dickhead? Of course I want to play God of War 2018 with a PS5 Pro. Like, what am I, a dick? And so I caved immediately. I bought the PS5 Pro, the PS4 Pro, bought God of War, and it was a nice shiny white one. And I was over the moon. I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to push the trigger on it yet. I'll wait. And all it's going to take is one game announcement, be that Ghost 2 or be that The Wolverine or something. And I'll be like, fuck. Or if they were like, oh, by the way, Sony Santa Monica, we've been busy. God of War's coming back before the end of the generation. I'm going to fucking go in for it. Of course I am. Like, I'm going to be that guy. And the only pro I can think of, and they never did this with PS... Oh, they did very late, around Death Stranding time, is they started to do, like, the pro, like, special edition models. And that would be the only advantage to waiting, is I could get myself a cool ass one later on. And I don't plan to do this, but I'm being realistic about myself here. Like, I don't plan. I'm quite happy as I am on the PS5. I don't need to upgrade. Not for that price. I don't think the gains that you get from it are worth that extra money. I really don't. However, I can only go from my past experience, and I caved before, and I'm pretty sure I'll cave again.
It's got me thinking, Davey. I got that voucher because they sent me my new headphones late, didn't they, PlayStation? Because I bought them from the official store, and I think they turned up a day late. And PlayStation emailed me, I think it was a 15% voucher to use on the PlayStation Store.
Oh,
and I still haven't used it. I occasionally go on and check if the voucher has expired, because, of course, expiry dates are a big news article that we talked about on the latest edition of the podcast. Definitely worth a listen. So I'm wondering if that's going to work on the PS5 Pro. Imagine it did. 15% off. That's a hell of a lot of money, right, guys? It's never going to work, but let's hope.
I'd just check those T&Cs, bro. Have a look.
Yeah.
If it says hardware excluded, you're fucked. But if
hardware
it does...
works. Hardware works, because that's what I've been testing
work,
it on.
I don't
That's
see
what
why
I've been
it would
testing
work.
on. Yeah. So I tested it like a week ago, just on the base model of the PS5, and I could get 15% off.
It
Fucking
should
hell, there's no
work.
reason why it shouldn't work then, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's
Oh my God.
sick.
That would be awesome.
That's
Maybe
sick.
I'm going to put this out to you boys. Can I buy multiple?
Ooh.
Ooh. Well, if you can get 15% off, get me one. Get me
That's
one.
what I was thinking.
I'll
I'll
fucking
share
do
the
it.
love.
Yeah, I'll do it. If you can do it and it works, yeah, get me one. And I'll do it. 15% off would puts it down to the price that I was willing to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fine. I'm fucking in for that. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, I get excited now. September 26th, bro.
And you know what happens, right? As soon as one of us buys something, we all start caving.
Yeah.
I bought a PS Portal, Davey caved. Spencer bought a DualSense Edge, Davey caved. And I'm about to cave on one of those. Of course I am. I might even bundle it in with my PS5 Pro, right? When I get it ordered. If I'm getting 15% off, hell, order it all, right? As much as I can afford. Let's use it. Let's use that voucher to its maximum potential.
I think that'd be so sick, mate. We'll be seeing Phil come on, right? He's got his PS5 Pro, he's got his PSVR 2, he's got his PlayStation Kayak that he's just ordered. He's got the works, yeah. He's got the absolutely decked out, like top to bottom in all
Got his
PlayStation
media
gear.
remote.
Yeah, media remote.
I'll be like Garth up Wayne's World. I'll just be sat there and I'll be go, don't you hate it when people just do stuff for money? And I'll just be decked out in all this PlayStation gear, all the PlayStation stuff behind me. I'm a proper slut for PlayStation if I get 15% off.
Oh fuck yeah! Why wouldn't you,
I
mate?
would be too.
Bend right over. Let's do this.
Take me, Sony.
Shove that Pro up my arse. Hell yeah! But no, I think this is it. This is the big kind of bugbear is this price. And Spence, I want to know, how are you feeling, mate? How are you feeling about this? Were you as shocked as I was?
It was a big price to look at. I was very surprised. I thought it would be about 600, 650. £700, and then obviously the fact it's the same as America as well. Even if they got to do their own tax, it still shouldn't be the same. It is a bit egregious. I looked at it and I thought, not a fucking chance. I'm already playing games at 4K 60. Most games now, especially Insomniac titles, have a 4K 60 ray tracing mode. So I'm getting all of it just at a slightly lower fidelity. The comparison pictures in the presentation, I'm not going to lie to you, I couldn't see fucking an ounce of a difference in the majority of them. It was only in maybe like the gameplay in Jedi Survivor and in Horizon where I was like, fuck me, that looks beautiful. But I've not seen those games on normal PS5. They might look that beautiful anyway. For me, I thought this is not worth, what, 250 extra pound?
No, do you know what? I kind of agree with you. I know there was a difference, right? Like there was, even I could tell that. And I'm fucking essentially blind. I could tell that. But for me, it's not the games that we've seen that you want to be looking at this for. It's the games that have been made with this in mind. Like you can polish a turd as much as you want, right? Like they can make Returnal up to 4K, like true 4K, which is normally 1080. They could do that. Cool, right? Great. But a game that's built from the ground up with the Pro and the PS4 and the PS5 in mind would be fucking nuts. And if there's a game that's going to do it, it's going to be Ghost, right? It's going to be Ghost 2. I think that's the one that we're going to look at and be like, fuck. They were showing Ghost 1 for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
They were showing Ghost 1, PS4 game, which then got a PS5 port and kind of a freshen up. Yeah, and Last of Us 2. This system over this next year now, over 2025, is going to be fucking wild. There's going to be some shit in there. And that's what's going to make me break. 100%. Like, if the 15% doesn't come up clutch and I don't go, it will be a game they show there. And you think, fuck. And I think the most noticeable feature is going to be that ray tracing. I think that ray tracing difference is going to be nuts in comparison. Like, you look at what it is on, like, Spider-Man, like you were saying, like, on the ray tracing mode, on 60 or 40, or whatever it is. And it's decent, it's good, but it's nowhere near as good as it is in 30, like in fidelity mode. It's, like, nowhere near. And if they're saying it's, like, triple the amount of power on that ray tracing engine, fuck. That's, like, the most noticeable thing ever that is, like, an E3 pan moment all the time when it comes to ray tracing. So that would be where the difference really lies.
I agree with you. That is obviously where the difference lies. The only thing is, as long as I can play games at 60 on my PS5, our gameplay is exactly the same. Sure, yours might look a little bit prettier. Like he was saying, oh, what I really like in Ratchet and Clank is the fidelity of the crowd in the background. I was like, fine, look at it then. I'm playing the game, I'm shooting people. As long as the gameplay is identical, which it probably will be, I am not going to be buying PS5 Pro. Unless in the future, it starts being PS5 Pro for 60 FPS and PS5 for 30, which is egregious if they do start doing that. But obviously games get more demanding over time. I would understand it. Until then, I will never buy a PS5 Pro. If it becomes the only way to play games in 60 FPS, fair enough. It's worth the money. But as it stands currently, we're playing the exact same game at the exact same frame rate, but your water looks a little bit nicer. You get to see a bit of a shadow over there.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
Class. I understand why people want it and why it's nice that it looks nicer, but it's not necessary for the gameplay. We're playing the exact same game, getting the exact same experience, but you think, oh, look at that shadow on that tree. Wow. That's the only difference. And you've got a bit more storage, I guess. That is it. So it's for that price jump, it is definitely not worth it for me. Not even close.
I think that's totally fair. And that's a great critique, because it is that. That is all it is. You're paying an extra bit to have it look a little bit shinier.
Yeah.
That is it. And it's not like as if the difference is PS5 to PS6, right? It's not going to be that. Like the PS4 Pro compared to the PS5 is night and day difference.
Wild.
Yeah. And so you can imagine that you've got, I mean, how long have we got left this generation? 2 years, let's say. But maybe 18 months before we start talking about PS6. 2 years before the full kind of initial unveiling. Maybe 3 if we're generous. It's not a huge lifespan left. But for me, it's just going to come down to those experiences. And I know that when I'm playing a game that I'm really passionate about, I'll want it to look the best it can. And the only issue is, if I upgrade and I do go for a PS5 Pro, I'm then going to have the conversation with myself of, do I go for an OLED TV? You know, and get one that runs 120.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to have more experiences that run 120. And at the moment, my TVs can't output that. My monitor can. So I could put it on my monitor in front of me, and I could be fucking blowing chunks of spunk everywhere, because I'll be loving it, right? But I want to play on a big ass screen, so I'm gonna have to have that conversation with myself as well, which I'm sure the missus will not be happy with, but it is what it is. And so with that, guys, I think it's time that we wrap up this breaking news segment. Of course, I'm sure that by the time we get 2 weeks down the line and we get to episode 99, we're going to have even more details to discuss. We still don't know how it impacts the PSVR 2, which is a major question mark for myself. We shall probably know loads, I imagine, by the time we get there. Probably end up being our topic of the show. But until then, thank you all ever so much for coming in and checking out this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, a couple of ways you can support us. Put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and of course, leave a comment. Let us know, are you thinking of picking up a PS5 Pro? We won't know until you tell us. Thank you ever so much. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.